Hello everyone, it's Melissa and welcome back to my channel. Are you ready to make a beautiful autumn inspired bracelet? We are making a multi-strand bracelet on this tutorial. We are using some Czech glass beads that were on the Softlex company website, as well as the metallic Softlex. I just think this looks so beautiful together with it, a perfect autumn pairing. This beautiful tiara cast little pendant or charm. You'll just need some jump rings, a clasp of your choice, and some 2x2s. And I will go ahead and link all the products if they are still available down below in the description, as well as a bracelet inspirational tutorial playlist. And before we start creating, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It'll help my little channel grow. Let's start creating. So with our soft flex, we're going to need about 15 or 16 inches. And I know this may seem like a lot, but if you have any left over, we'll always save it for a future project. So we have our soft flex wire, and we're just going to start by adding on our 2x2. And this is just basic bead stringing, just with a little bit of a twist. If you've seen my other soft flex videos, you know I like to keep my soft flex on the spool, but for this project, we're going to do something a little different, but we'll still have a bead stopper. So we have on our 2x2 with the opposite side of soft flex where you're just going to pass back through. And we're just going to pull. So it's kind of going to create like a little crisscross or an X. And then once we have our 2x2 in the center, it's up to you how big you want your little connection point to be. And this is what's going to connect to our jump ring or our clasp. So once we have everything the way we want it, we're just going to take our pliers and we're just going to flatten our 2x2 for this project. If you've seen my other tutorials, you know I like to round it for a more professional finish, but just because of the placement of the beads, it's okay to flatten it. So now we're just going to be doing our basic bead stringing. We want to add on our jump ring to our little charm. If you don't have a jump ring, the charm is going to lay lopsided. So when we open our jump rings, we're just going to twist side to side. And then we're just going to close it the opposite way, and you should hear a little click. So now we're just going to add on our beads. I love these little daisy spacers when you kind of stack them together. They kind of look like a little bit of a bead woven design. So to start, we're just going to add 2 of our little daisy spacers on each side. Then we're going to add one of our beautiful little Czech glass rondels. I think this is like a 7 by 9 millimeter or 9 by 11 millimeter, but just looks like a little caramel swirl or maybe like a little pumpkin spice latte. And then we're just going to add 2 more of our little daisy spacers. Sometimes this can be a little tricky to pick up with your fingers. You can always use your soft flex as a needle. We're just going to let all of our beads slide down. So we have our beautiful little design. So we're going to keep adding on the beads until we reach the middle of our bracelet, and then we're going to attach our beautiful little pendant charm. And you can also use soft flex as a needle for your larger beads if you would like to. I learned this trick when I was doing some little bead weaving with soft flex, and I was like, that's very helpful. So we're in the middle of a bracelet. We've just finished on one of our little Czech glass. I'm going to add one little daisy spacer, and then we're just going to attach our charm. And this is just going to act just like a bead. We're just going to slide it through the jump ring. And then add another daisy spacer. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. And then we'll just continue our pattern. So that just the little jump ring will just lay between the 2 little daisy spacers. And then we'll just continue our bead stringing. And by adding the jump ring, it doesn't really give a lot of spacing, so it's not going to mess up the pattern or the size of your bracelet or design. So we have our beautiful multi-strand bracelet with our beautiful little charm. Now we're just going to attach our 2x2. So we're just going to slide it on one side of soft flex. And I do have a lot of soft flex left over, so it's the perfect size for maybe a small bracelet or a pair of earrings. And then on the opposite side with our soft flex wire, we're just going to pass back through our 2x2 and give it a pull. And don't worry if there's some spacing with your bracelet when you wear it, it will straighten out. So it doesn't matter which side of soft flex, we're just going to pass back through our 2x2. You can make little adjustments if you want to, just to kind of loosen the project so you have room to pass it through. And with the soft flex 2x2s, it will hold 3 pieces of the medium soft flex wire, and that's what we're using in today's projects. So we'll just pass it back through, and then we'll just make any adjustments we may need. Then we want to make sure that our loop is fairly the same size. Doesn't have to be perfect. And once we have it the way we would like, we're just going to take our pliers and just flatten that 2x2. Now we're just going to trim off our extra soft flex. And just be careful not to trim our little connection points. We'll save our soft flex for a future project. Super cute little bracelet. We have our clasp. And this is just a little bit on the small side, so I'm just going to show you how to make it a little bit bigger if you would like to. So we have our eye pin. We are just going to go ahead and attach one of our little Czech glass, rondels, a daisy spacer, and a rondel. We're going to do the same thing on the other eye pin. And you could always just attach a piece of chain or some jump rings to extend it as well. This just kind of gives it a more designer touch to it. So we're going to be making some wrapped loops, and I'm using the tool, the one-step looper, and I will link that down below in the description. So we're just going to slide it into the tool and give it a squeeze, and we'll have the perfect loop every time. And this is also a great technique if you don't want a nice chunky bracelet all the way around. It just kind of flattens it to a more dainty design in the back of the bracelet. So we're just going to take our round nose pliers, and I just need to make sure that my loops are completely closed. You don't want them to open and your bracelet to come apart or break. Always make your own little components out of soft flex craft wire or do a wrapped loop. We're going to bring in some jump rings. I'm just using a smaller size for this part of the project. When I attach my clasp, I like to use the larger ones. It just kind of is easier to add on the clasp. So we're going to attach our jump ring to our soft flex connection point and then to our little component we just made. And give it a close. We'll hear that little click. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Add on our little components and give it a close. So we have our beautiful little bracelet. And I am using a lobster claw. If you have a two-part clasp, such as a toggle, you would just attach it on the other side. So we're going to attach the lobster claw and give it a close. And then we're just going to attach a jump ring on the other side and give it a close. We'll hear that little click. And we have our beautiful autumn-inspired multi-strand bracelet. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It'll help my little channel grow. And check out down below in the description for the products used in this video, as well as a tutorial playlist for all other bracelet inspiration. Have an awesome day.